thank you very much for coming to this Home Affairs Select Committee event. Could we please just start by, could you give us your name and your date of birth, and then just tell us what happened on the day?
Hello. Thank you very much for having me. My name is Chortle, and I was born on XXX 1978, and so yeah, a friend of mine sent me an email once a day, one day, yeah. And she said, I'm going to this, do you want to come? And it was a meeting on non-violence in support of animals. And because you see, I'm doing a PH something, a D, on ethical collaboration with animals. So I thought, oh, that would be really good for my research. So I said, yeah, I'm coming. But she was going on a day that I couldn't because I was going to be outside of the UK because I was traveling. So I said, I can go only this other day. And she said, all right, I'll come this other day with you. And that day was 6th of May. And I also thought it's good because it's the coronation. So I'm going to, because I didn't want to go to the coronation because it would have been busy and a mess, I thought that this is something nice to do. Can we have a break, sorry?
Yes, of course we can.
My hands hurt.
Please do continue.
So we decided, as I was saying, yeah, we decided to go to the coronation day, in the day of the coronation, because that was the day I could do it. And this was in Haggerston, yeah? So I met with my friend in North London, and we took the bus, and we got there, and yes. And when we arrived, there were 2 police vans outside the place, and I got a bit worried. I was like, oh, why are there 2 police vans? But then I thought, oh, because it's a coronation, so they're being careful that nothing happens to us, you know. So I was, okay, let's go in, and a nice lady welcomed us, and she offered us a cup of tea, and so I found a stock cube. Because I didn't want a cup of tea because I don't like tea much. I prefer savory. So I made myself a broth, and I sat down, and I sat away from my friends so I could meet someone else. Why? Because I didn't know anyone, and I thought if we stay next to each other, it's not good manners. You know, so I started talking to this other lady who was a teacher, and she as well was there for the first time, and I thought this is interesting to do an introductory, to attend this introductory meeting on non-violence in support of animals. It's going to be really cool, and it's going to be really interesting for my research. We're waiting for the meeting to start because I think the lady said let's wait a bit more to make sure people arrive. And at the end we were like 12 women, all different ages, but approximately like say from 30 to 70, and one man as well, and we were nearly starting, like the lady said, okay, sit down in circle. So I sat down with my cup of broth, and then I heard, police, 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 police! And then again, police, police, police! And I thought, God, these guys are slow. I mean, the place is got one room, 2 rooms. How long does it take them from that room there where I made a cup of tea to come here? That was really strange. I thought they were playing a game, you know, like hide and seek. But no, finally they arrived, and my heart started beating really hard and fast. I got a bit worried because why the police are here? Why? What happened then? Ah, yes. And then there was one policeman that had reddish hair. I think he was called Sergeant. Everyone was addressing him as Sergeant. So the sergeant was giving commands to the others, like telling them what to do. And they would go. And I had this nice policeman, very young policeman, that came to me. And everyone else, all the other ladies and the man, they all had their own policeman standing with them. And then my policeman said, well, I'm going to arrest you. What? I mean, what? And he said, yes, I'm going to arrest you. Oh, because of conspiracy to cause public nuisance to the coronation. I was thinking a lot of things at that moment, but I didn't say them because I was under shock. But I was thinking, how can I cause public nuisance to the coronation? I'm here. I'm being a good girl. I didn't mean to cause anything, and I haven't done anything. And I was just here for this meeting from this organization that, by the way, I don't really know. So then I thought, oh my God, maybe I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time. But then I looked around and everyone else was under shock, so I thought, no, we're all under shock. I'm not the only one here. That I'm not making a mistake because everyone is the same. And my friend as well, she was under shock, I could see that. And he arrested me, and he handcuffed me on the back, and I said, that's painful. And he said, no, that's okay. My finger can go through the handcuffs, so that means you have enough space. I said, but that's painful anyway. And he said, no. I said, oh, okay. And then he called the sergeant, and he searched me. And I thought that only policewoman could search me because I'm not sure you know, but I'm a woman. No, he could search me because he explained to me that the sergeant had a camera, and so the sergeant was standing in front of me, so that he could basically record with the camera what my policeman was doing to me. And he searched my pockets, and he found the broth, the other half of the stock cube, and he asked me, what is this? And I got really scared. I was, wow! Oh, that's my broth. I said, what do you mean? I said, that's what's in my cup of tea, you see there? Because I like savoury. I said, okay. And then he found 2 walnuts in my other pocket, and he said, what are these? And I said, that's 2 walnuts. And he said, why? I said, because you see, I practice veganism, and so that was my snack for the day. And he said, but they're really hard. And I said, yeah, that's why they're two, because then you can put them in one hand, and if you press really hard, the two against it, they break, and then you can eat them. And I noticed that two ladies weren't handcuffed, and one was an elderly lady, and I thought, well, that's right. But then the other one was really young, and she was really chirpy and talking a lot with the policeman, and I thought, oh, maybe she's got like a famous name, and that's why she's not being handcuffed. Anyway, then I asked him what's going on, and he said, I don't know, we are waiting. I said, are you waiting for what? And he said, we're waiting to decide what to do. I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, we might take you to the police station. And I said, well, but if you wait a bit longer, the coronation's going to be finished, right? So you can let us go. And he said, yeah, actually, if it's going to take so long, yeah, we might as well let you go. But no. Unfortunately, then the sergeant came back in and he said, what? We've got the vans. Go. And so they took me out and put me in a van with another lady. And I was really worried because my friend, I couldn't see her, and I heard that they were taking some to Brixton and some to Stokey, and I thought, oh no, let's hope that she comes in the same place as me, so at least we can be together, right? And then luckily she came in the same van, and I really needed a wee, and we went to Stoke Newington police station, and I thought, oh good, now I can have a wee. But no, we had to stay in the van for quite a long time, and the van was dripping, you see, and I really needed a wee, so I said, I need a wee, while we were parked outside of Stoke police station, Stokey. And the guy said, one of the policemen said, well, you have to hold it. So I did. But then after half an hour, I really needed it. So I said, I really need a wee. And he said, well, you need to hold it as much as you can. So I said, all right. And we talked to the policeman. We were trying to be nice, and the policemen, I think, were trying to be nice, but they were really tired. And I asked, and some of them had worked for 20 hours no stop. And I was thinking, well, how can they think straight? I wouldn't be able to work for more than 10 hours without my head going boom. But they worked for 20 hours and they were still supposed to be, on the ball. And I thought, that's unfair. And I thought it was actually dangerous. And then I thought, maybe that's why they've arrested me, because they can't think straight. And maybe I should tell them. But then I thought, no, maybe they're going to get offended. So I didn't. And then I really needed a wee again. I really, really needed it. So I said, I really can't hold it any longer. And the driver, another policeman, because you see the van was leaking. The roof of the van was leaking. It was dripping on the seat in front of me. And the van driver said, look, you can piss on that seat and nobody's going to notice. And, well, I thought that wasn't a nice joke. I thought that was a bit humiliating, really. But I remained nice, I smiled and I said, ha 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 ha. And I held my wee. And finally after I don't know, 2 hours we were allowed in the police station. And I said, can I go for a wee now? And so they got me a lady. Was it a lady? Yeah, it was a lady. And she took me to a cell. And I had a wee there, and then I shouted, there's no toilet paper. And she said, not because it's just been cleaned. I thought, that's funny, the cell has been cleaned, but there's no toilet paper, so I'm not going to be cleaned, am I? Anyway, I went back, and can I have a bit of water, please?
Yes, we'll take a break there.
Thank you.
And now we're going to continue with Chortle's account.
And after I had a wee, I went back, and the lady that took me...
Could you speak up, please?
After I had a wee, we came back, and the lady that took me to the jail for the wee, she searched me properly again. And then they asked me loads of questions. My phone was taken. And I forgot, when they arrested me, they asked me for my details. And I said, do I have to give them to you? Because you see, well, do I have to give them to you? And they said, no, you don't have to, but everyone else has given their details. It would speed things up if you did. And you see, I knew it wasn't true because I heard the lady next to me that didn't. So I thought, why are they lying? And so I said, I'm going to wait until the police. And they also asked me for my PIN for the telephone, and I didn't give them my PIN. And I said, can I wait? And they said, yeah. So when we were at the police station and they asked me for my details, I gave them my details. But anyway, the policeman, when they arrested me, he took my details anyway because he went through my things. Anyway, at the police station, I gave my details, and they asked me if I was a British citizen or not. And I said, well, actually, I've got double citizenship. And they said, well, we're going to put you down as British. Is that okay? I said, does it make any difference? And they said, no. So I said, okay, well then put me down as British, isn't it? But I couldn't really read the things they gave me to read, like the rules, because I didn't have my glasses. And I said, I can barely read. And they said, but can you? I said, I can barely. But I said, but they can, but you can. And I said, barely. I said, okay. And you see, that was silly of me, because if I had been able to read properly, I would have read that if I said I was Italian, I could have asked them to call the embassy. But to be honest, I was a bit under shock and I couldn't really think properly. Anyway, after they asked me all the questions, they also asked me if I have ever tried to commit suicide or harm myself, and I said yes. And they also asked me, and are you okay now? And I said yes. And they also asked me if I had any medical condition, and I said yes. So they told me that I was going to have to see a nurse to make sure that I was fit to stay in the cell. And I said okay. And then they took my scarf away, which is very important to me because I have this condition and I need to keep my face warm. But they said that the scarf was dangerous because I could harm myself. But that was funny because then they didn't take my shoelaces away, and they didn't take the strings that I had attached to my trousers, which are 1 meter long, away. They didn't confiscate that, but they confiscated my scarf, and I thought, that doesn't make much sense. But then I also thought, if they're working for 20 hours, their brain is not really screwed properly, innit? They're too tired, poor guys. So I thought, oh, poor guys, all right. Then they took my DNA, my pictures, they did it like that, and then like that, and then also the other side like that. And then my fingerprints. And they explained to me that if I weren't going to be charged and if everything was going away, I could have asked for my DNA and my fingerprints to be burned. And I said, what about my pictures? And they said, no, the picture's going to stay with us forever. I thought that was a bit unfair. But anyway, then I went into the cell and it was all on my own, and I thought that was really a bit scary. They gave me a cup of tea, but because I practice veganism I couldn't have it with milk, but that's alright. I'm not fussy like that. And they also asked me before they put me in the cell if I wanted a lawyer, and the lady that was organizing the meeting, when the police barged in, she shouted the name of a lawyer, so I asked for that lawyer. Anyway, that was like, so I was arrested at 10:25 a.m. I think I got in the jail at around 12:30, maybe 1. And then at around 6, I was called out of the cell because my lawyer arrived. And we had a chat, and we decided I was going to make a statement, and I was going to say no comment to all their questions, and that's what we did. And when they were asking me the questions, so I made my statement, and then they asked me questions, and they tried to trick me, because at some point they said something, and I said, and they mentioned some name of an organization, and they said, oh, when you said that you you wanted to attend the meeting by name of the organization, and I said, no, wait a minute, I didn't say that. I didn't say that name. I just said I wanted to attend a meeting on non-violence in support of animals. And they said, oh, okay, sorry. And then they let me go. They said I was let go. I could go home on bail. And when they were interrogating me, they asked me if it was if I used to go to Central London often. I said no. Why? They said because we might release you on bail on condition not to go in Central London. I said, well, that's all right, except that, you know, as a researcher, I do conferences in Central London. And one of the two that was interrogating me said, but aren't they on TeamViewer? I said, no, the academic conferences means you go and you have a paper and you read the paper, and then there's loads of other academics in front of you that make you questions and read their papers too, so it has to be in person. And they said, okay. Anyway, then I was released on bail, but there was no condition, so I can still go in Central London. But yes, I was released on bail, on pre-charge bail, and basically, as far as I understand, that means I'm still under investigation. And in fact, they kept my phone, which is really a mess, because I've got, you know, authentication for when you log into the uni things or to the bank, and all the second authentication codes, they all go to my phone, so that's a bit of a problem. And also, I am supposed to travel to US, you see, for the conferences and stuff, but with this, it means I can't just fill in the EFRA form, you know. I have to go to the US Embassy and all that jazz, and it's going to be very complicated, basically. So it's a problem for me. I really don't know why, because that was the first time I was attending a meeting like that. I've never been to a demonstration. I've never been to a climate change thing. I'm not a protester. I'm not an activist. therapist.
Well,
yeah.
thank you very much indeed, Chortle. That's really, really comprehensive account, and thank you so much for taking your time, and we will be in touch.
Well, I hope this thing resolves well for everyone. I really want... Anyway, you've been very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye!
Bye-bye.